Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It is a pleasure to open this seminar marking the 25th anniversary of UNIGIS Portugal and the Master in Geographic Information Systems and Science at Nova Information Management School. For 25 years, UNIGIS has strengthened GIS education and built a community of professionals who continue to shape geographic information science in Portugal and beyond. Today's session, Digital Twins for Urban Futures, looks ahead to the next chapter. Digital twins bring together real-time data, 3D modeling, and artificial intelligence to create living digital replicas of cities. They allow us to analyze urban dynamics, test different scenarios, and support more informed planning decisions. These models help us explore questions that were previously difficult to answer. How will mobility change with a new intervention? How do energy or climate pressures affect neighborhoods? What are the impacts of future development? By experimenting in virtual environment, we gain insights that help shape more sustainable and resilient urban futures. Today's session focuses on methods that reveal how cities truly work, the flows, systems, and interactions that influence everyday life. Our speaker will share innovative approaches and practical applications that highlight the power of digital twins in urban analysis. To talk about digital twins for urban futures, I have the pleasure to introduce to you Miguel Neto. He is a professor and the dean at Nova Information Management School and a leading expert in smart cities, urban intelligence, and data-driven government. Former Secretary of State for Territorial Planning and Nature Conservation, he has played a central role in advancing digital innovation in public administration. At Nova IMS, he directs initiatives that integrate technology, data, and sustainability to improve urban decision-making. His work bridges academia, policy, and civic innovation, helping shape the future of intelligent cities. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate this milestone for UNIGIS Portugal. I wish you an inspiring and engaging seminar. Let's begin. Miguel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Marco. It's a real pleasure to be here with you. I was excited with the idea and the opportunity of sharing what we have been doing in the last years in the context of smart, sustainable cities and beyond. But let me start by framing a little bit. Presently, I'm the Dean of Nova Information Management School, a school that is focused on information management, on data science, on artificial intelligence. And presently, we are a community of around 4,500 students coming from 100 countries. And we, in fact, try to explore in the research that we do, in the programs that we offer, in the projects that we develop to create value using analytical approaches to address the challenges that we face in the different areas, either for industry, for society, for everyday life. But UNIGIS is celebrating 25 years, and I would like also to try to make this presentation like a kind of a journey that will lead us to the digital twins. So we have been trying to use analytics in the context of smart, sustainable cities, but this has been a journey, and I would like also to make to create a kind of an nexus on this journey. And I always remember, and I think everybody remembers that life is like a box of chocolates. We never know what we are going to get. And when Marco invited me to give this talk to sell in the context of the UNIGIS celebration of the 25th anniversary, I also thought, how can I also say why have we been started working in the context of smart cities. And in fact, I was a professor at Nova IMS back then, and I was invited to join the government as Secretary of State for Territorial Planning and Nature Conservation 10 years ago. I returned to the university, and in one side, as Secretary of State of Territorial Planning, I was responsible for cities policy. And in that position, I understood that there was the need to also adopt data-driven approaches in order to support public policies to address the challenges that we faced in cities, in order to handle the problems, the challenges, and also the opportunities that we faced. And I will go back to that in just a few moments. But I was also Secretary of State for Nature Conservation. And I decided to place this slide also because, in fact, life is like a box of chocolates. Because I'm making this intervention not from Lisbon, because the initial idea of Marco was that we should be in the same room having this event together. But in fact, after the invitation and after we decided to do this talk, I was invited to be in Seville today, where I am, and in the few minutes at 6 o'clock here in the Seville, I'm going to be awarded a prize for the work I developed as Secretary of State for the recovery of a species that was nearly extinct in the Iberian Peninsula, which is the Iberian lynx. And this is a photograph taken 10 years ago when we reintroduced in Portugal the first two animals after they were extinct in the Iberian Peninsula. And just to say that life is in fact amazing, and you never know what you're gonna get. And so, going back to the idea of smart cities, the opportunity that I had to look at the public policies side and also how to use data-driven approaches and what we do at Nova IMS made me look at the challenges and opportunities in the context of cities. And we know that although the urban communities occupy a very small percentage of the world's surface, we have there a huge percentage of population, but more than that, we have there in that small space the greatest percentage of wealth being created, but also the biggest impact in terms of environmental challenges that we face in waste, in energy, in greenhouse gas emissions. And this is a problem that is growing every day, since the world's concentration of population in cities is going to be much bigger than it is today. In Europe, this is already reality, but at the world level is going to grow. And this is also something that is part of our ambition as a global community on the United Nations Development Sustainable Goals. And so we have one of the targets, which is the 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. And this is what we have been working in the last 10 years. How can we take advantage of information management, data science, to address these challenges, to take advantage of the opportunities, to change the way we make decisions, to change how we manage services and infrastructures, and much more than that, how can we provide insights that can support a new paradigm of governance of cities and territories. And this is what we do at Nova Cidade Urban Analytics Lab for the last 10 years. And so how can we contribute to the development of smart and sustainable cities and territories through data science in the most broad sense that this can mean. So we are a group of researchers that bring together different disciplines in order to contribute to this new reality, shall we say. And so we try to not only to research and innovate, but also to have an active role in training, and more than that, to be able to promote an ecosystem that brings together not only academia, but also local authorities, the governments, and the industry. And we have been working with this philosophy for the last 10 years, and it's been quite an amazing journey. And as I will now try to give you an idea, we have been able to have quite a number of successful projects, and we have come to the point that we strongly believe that digital twins are in fact the next big thing that we should be all looking at. And so when we think about smart, sustainable cities, for us, the challenge is how are we going to take advantage of digital transformation to foster this new paradigm of cities, services, and infrastructures management, how this can also sustain not only the efficient use of resources, but also be an active approach to address climate emergency, never forgetting that in the end of the day, what we are looking for, our ambition, is to contribute to increase the well-being and the quality of life of the citizens. And in order to do that, in our perspective, we're trying to use as much as possible, of course, the digital transformation, the technology, and the present analytical capabilities, the present possibilities that we have of collecting data, and all the challenges and the respect for ethical concerns, data privacy. All of that is in fact today a space of inspiration and a space of a creativity that is amazing and that creates an opportunity that allows for many surprises and also many action points that very easily change how things operate and work. And so I'm not going to say again what a smart city is. This is a definition from ISO that translates formally what I just said. So it's all about sustainability and resilience. It's all involves society, a collaborative leadership. It's multidisciplinary approaches that involve different city systems. We have to somehow integrate data and technologies to transform services and the city of life. And today we look at this as an ecosystem that articulates, that coordinates 6 city dimensions: the economy, the governance, the environment, the mobility, society, and living. And by trying to bring all of this together, cities started to move forward, and the signposts, shall we say, that many times people seize when they think about a smart city is that is a city that was able to create a kind of a coordination and control room where I can gather in real time information about what is happening in the city. And in this room, I have people from different departments and services, internal and external to the City Hall, that are capable of managing in real time what is happening in the city. And for quite a while, this was, shall I say, the futuristic vision of a city, to be able to monitor what is happening and to be able to react in real time to the problems that we face. So there is a a water leakage, and I immediately can divert the traffic. I can send the team with the necessary equipment and parts to repair the problem. And so everything is managed in real time with the necessary data to solve the problem. And according to this, we have been developing projects, many projects. These are just some examples of what we have been doing. And in the first moment, the challenge was, in fact, how can we use information management, data science, artificial intelligence to provide more accurate support to operational challenges. And in the bottom line, in the second dashboard from the right, we have an example of a predictive model, this one, where we were able to support Lisbon bike sharing system in providing a predictive model that would say what would be the demand of bicycles in each bike sharing system station in order to guarantee that I would have bicycles or empty spaces to park bicycles, so that I can manage the overall network of stations. Or in the top, in the same second column, if I could predict waste production in order to improve the collection, the optimization of the collection of waste in order to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and the costs of collection, and also, of course, the efficiency of the collection process. But suddenly it became clear that most of these operational problems were no longer a research topic. The systems that were placed in the market by the vendors of the hardware were starting to incorporate the optimization models. And so in terms of research, that was not a problem. And so we started to look on how could we involve. And we started not looking at the optimization of operational problems, but could we move into a kind of a higher value in the information value chain? Could we build simulators? Could we start to create some kind of tools that could not address or support operational decisions, but be used to create insights to support decisions regarding the governance of the city? And so we started to create some simulators here in this one, in the second column from the left, in the second row. I have here a dashboard of a walkability indicator. So we created a walkability indicator, and based on that walkability indicator, a simulator was built where I can select a street, a quarter, a neighborhood, and I can test an intervention like I will improve the sidewalk in 25%. What will be the impact of this? Or if I I make an investment in green infrastructures, what will be the impact of this in the walkability? Or there was another example. What if I analyze all the accidents in the city, and then I can select a road and test to increase the number of lanes or change the speed limit or place a radar and evaluate the impact of that in the risk of accident. And these were the kind of simulators that we decided to develop. Or even being more ambitious, since we were able to collect data from different sources with different formats, we created also integrated models that produced insights about what was happening in the cities and how that could improve the knowledge and the support decision making. And on the left column, on the top, it's a dashboard for Porto in the north of Portugal, where I have here a urban dynamic indicator that we have created. And the idea was, if there is an event in the city, can I monitor what was the status of the city before the event, during the event, after the event, in the spot of the event, and also in the city. And it was very, very interesting to understand that this could generate insights that were not visible before we produced this urban dynamic indicator. Just in the third row, there is another approach, which was to create a dashboard that would model the 15-minute city that Carlos Moreno designed. And so in this example, this is for another municipality in Portugal, Oeiras, just close to Lisbon, and we evaluated house by house the time taken walking, cycling, or by car to the city services, green infrastructures, hospitals, culture, whatever, the different kind of services. I could evaluate very easily what would be the distance in time and by the different mode of transportation, and that is a very interesting tool in terms of governance. What was although these examples are very inspirational, there is here one topic that must be addressed. All the examples that are referred are examples that were developed in municipalities, in cities that are in the top in terms of wealth, in terms of population, and so in terms of digital maturity. In Portugal, we have 308 municipalities, and probably in order to have this kind of approaches in place, I would only be able to replicate these projects in, I don't know, 10%, and probably that is already being too optimistic. Meaning what? The majority of municipalities in Portugal, they don't have the digital maturity, the bottom-up data that is necessary, the human resources skills to put in place this kind of projects. And in this moment, we understood that another approach was needed. And this was the moment where we started to think not in cities, not in smart cities, but how could we, inspired by the smart city approach, to think about smart regions, to think about territories where not being blocked by the heterogeneity of the digital maturity, we could nevertheless provide insight that could change the governance model with a data-driven approach. And what we did, and this is a real-world example, we have created this model that combined in a very, shall I say, virtuous approach, bottom-up data with top-down data in a region of Portugal, the West Intermunicipal Community, that brings together 12 municipalities. We were able to create a platform that provided insights to a new generation of data-driven public policies that was capable of being delivered to any municipality, no matter the digital maturity of that municipality. And this changed completely the game. And presently, we are capable, for instance, of providing, using Waze data information regarding traffic, regarding accidents, and we have even a story of a mayor that used this dashboard to argue and to be successful about road infrastructures in a debate with the government. We were able to create with data from bank transactions with digital payment means to provide to the mayors a tool where they can evaluate if they have an event in their town, what was the impact of that event in the local economy. So if there is any increase of economical activity in restaurants, in hotels, we have information about the use of public transport, and all of this was provided in a top-down approach, which was a really interesting solution. Presently, we are bringing these different dimensions together in integrated indicators, like the one that I referred, the urban dynamic indicator, and also incorporating generative AI to move forward in delivering to the decision makers other interfaces to allow them to interact with these decisional capabilities, since we know that most of these artifacts, these dashboards, are in fact sometimes too complex for the kind of users that we have. For instance, in this specific project, the Smart Region project, we even built Mayor's Cockpit that has nothing to do with this one that I'm showing here, with these different dashboards, because this is too complex, and we have created a different dashboard just with a few metrics, just a much more concise and easy and quick to read interface for a different profile of users. Having said that, where are we today? Presently in Portugal, there is being implemented a national strategy on smart territories by the Portuguese government, and so we can probably say that this national strategy is inspired by the work that we have done in university with our approach on smart territory. And this national smart territory strategy is inspiring this mode of turning data into action with a very important concept, which is to have in this center a data system for smart territories, and the ambition to create a framework of data interoperability at the national level between all the municipalities. And so what we have done in the smart territory, in the near future, it will be possible to be also adopted at the national level. Having said that, I included this slide because in the national strategy for smart territories, there is one activity, one pillar, which is the area of digital twins. So it's seen as an opportunity, or it's seen as the next step of evolution. Are we going to be able to move further? And so not only to be capable of creating tools, of having systems, but to move forward in order to have not a dashboard for a specific problem, not a platform that can support urban intelligent management, but can we have a digital replica of the city or the territory? And so the challenge that was here is the challenge that we face today. And a digital twin is something that today we are trying to address. This is the next frontier. We have now the technology that allows us to start to believe that this is possible to be done, but we have still some challenges. When we look at the digital twin, the core of the digital twin is to have a virtual representation of the real world, and this is something that we have been capable of doing already. Then we have the technical definition, which is this is a data-driven dynamic simulation model. And so this is also something that we have already seen. So there are many simulation models, but what we want is more than just a virtual representation and a simulation model, because in fact we want a digital replica of the reality, which is the business industry approach to the digital twin that is now being pushed by the industry. And for the academia, we want even more, because we want to have a cyber-physical integration framework, because we want from end to end to be capable of having the input, the processing, the output, and the action, taking advantage of the full capabilities that we have today in what concerns analytical capabilities. And so we have, in fact, today very good examples, but as I will show you, we have still a long way to go. And in academia, we are really excited about what we are doing today. Because in a digital twin, we will have the opportunity and also the need to integrate many different technologies with all the challenges that this places, even more because we are speaking about creating a digital replica of the real world, integrating real-time data, and to process that data and use the output to give feedback to the real world in real time to take actions in the real world. And so we are speaking about the Internet of Things to collect data. We are speaking about 3D modeling. We are speaking about extended reality in order to handle the interaction with the users. We are speaking about adopting and using artificial intelligence, even blockchain with the opportunities of distributed information on data transactions, business intelligence and analytics. We work a lot with business intelligence, and so the approaches of business intelligence can here play a very interesting role, and also the cloud as an opportunity to support all of this in a much more scalable way. This, as I said, is an ongoing process, because what, in my opinion, we have today is not yet what our ambition wants to reach. The first step is the digital model. So I have the physical object and I create a digital model, a digital object, which is the first step. We have a digital model. This is something that we are already able to do. So namely, when we are speaking about urban planning, we have already many examples on we have the physical object and I create the digital object that renders that physical object in a very realistic way. Then we have the next step, which is the digital shadow. We have data that is coming from the physical object to the digital object that is feeding the digital shadow. And in the digital shadow, we can even today already run simulations and see what is the impact of decisions. But the digital twin is the next step when the physical object has a digital twin, and the digital twin is fed by the automatic data flow from the physical object, but the simulations and the actions that we take in the digital objects are feeding the physical world and are impacting what is going to happen next. And we see already this happening in areas or in business areas, in sectorial challenges, but not yet at the city level. Because this is really huge. And so an urban digital twin is this ambition, this idea that I will be able to collect data from all the different data sources and formats in real time, bring that and integrate that in a single model, and then be able to process it, analyze it, make the simulations, the optimizations that I want, and then feedback the city with the decisions, with the interventions that I think should be the ones to be taken. And so this will in fact create a completely different, shall I say, interaction model from what we have today to this new reality, because we are speaking about having a kind of I will be in the digital world, which is a realistic replica of the physical world, and I can test my urban policies in almost a real world environment, and I can do this in a virtuous, continuous improvement life cycle, and only implement and see the actions taken. And this will be able to be applied in the different areas, and some of them are today not only opportunities, but the pain points of what we see as the biggest challenges in building smart, sustainable, and people-centric cities, from urban systems, from efficient use of resources, all of that together with economic development, and also to be able to make a virtuous connection by the different levels of governance in the countries, from local to regional to national. And so this will translate, in our opinion, in an improved public services and quality of life, never forgetting that we should always take into consideration that we must involve the citizens in the co-creation of this new reality, and this will be fundamental to address the carbon neutrality that we want to achieve in the near future. But I will go back to that in a few moments. This example is from a city, Wellington, and where, in my opinion, this is the best example that I saw of what could be a digital twin. And so I have this digital, realistic replica of a city, and I can see the information being presented on the top of that digital model, and I can simulate on this digital replica interventions, like I want to test a new bus line, I want to build an office. I can evaluate what are the consequences in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, in terms of traffic jams, and so it's a completely different way of interacting and making decisions and providing support for decision making, and this will in fact change the paradigm of the
It looks like Miguel had a glitch on his connection. Hopefully he's going to be back soon.
Não está a ouvir, Marco?
Sim. Punhado.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go on.
Sorry. I thought that I have lost the connection. Sorry. So I was trying to show a video, but it seems that the video is not going to present. So, but I will say shortly what I was going to say. What is an example of what we can do with a digital twin? This project brings together the 3 Portuguese cities that are part of the European Union mission on climate neutral and smart cities. The European Union has established as a goal to be carbon neutral by 2050, and then it launched a mission that invited cities to join together, 100 cities, to be like leaders in showing off good practices and examples to anticipate by 2030 the carbon neutrality in Europe. And so in Portugal there are 3 cities, and we are working together with these 3 cities in order to do something that is really challenging. Presently, the evaluation of greenhouse gas emissions is made with a delay of 2 years. And what we want to do in the digital twin that we are building together with Porto, Lisboa, and Guimarães is to create a digital twin that will calculate the greenhouse gas emissions, not with historical data, with a 2 years delay, but it will calculate the greenhouse gas emissions with the dynamic data in real time that is obtained from the urban management platforms of these 3 cities. And so what we are seeing today with the digital twins is in fact a unique opportunity to change completely how we can do in the context of cities management, in cities planning, but much more than that, and creating a new paradigm of data-driven public policies. And thank you very much for your time and attention.
All right, Miguel, thank you so much. So it's very, very inspiring talk, I believe, and also congratulations on receiving the prize on your work with the Iberian links. It's also inspiring as well. All right, so you just mentioned this project about the 3 cities, and we have a question here from Henry Briscoe, who's asking if there are any plans to standardize or adopt this at European level. It looks like this experiment you're doing with the 3 cities may be related to that policy.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's a very good question, and I didn't mention that, so it's an opportunity to go back to that point. So the national strategy has also in its foundation the need to comply with FIWARE and the smart data models that are behind FIWARE. So what we are going to build can be replicated at European level if they adopt the FIWARE guidelines, which are in fact adopted at the European level. More than that, the digital twin that we are going to build is going to be made available open source, and it will comply. The idea is that the digital twin will be capable of being connected with any of the 3 cities, since they will all comply with the smart data models from FIWARE, and it will be made available in open source to any city, and if the city complies, it can also adopt the digital twin.
Okay. We have another question from Ruth Teixeira. It's a little bit on a different angle. She's trying to understand how we can use this vast amount of information while not compromising citizens' privacy.
Thank you very much for the question, because I didn't mention that. We don't use individual data. So all the data that is presented is aggregated data. So there is no concern regarding citizens' privacy. The only data that is not aggregated is data regarding, for instance, companies. There is an example is there is a dashboard about the industry in Oeste. So you can identify the company and what is the sector of activity, but that's it. So there is no personal data being available in any dashboard.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yet a different question from a PhD student at our own university at the FCT. Is a PhD student in industrial engineering and is focusing on digital twins for logistics, operations in seaports. And he's wondering whether you are involved or there will be some involvement of your group in this type of logistics projects with digital twins.
Strangely or not, no. That is what happened. Is that we have been working in smart cities, and the ports typically they are all in cities, right? Probably the cities are all close to the ports. It's the other way around. And what happened to us is that in the last year we were invited by the Administração do Porto de Lisboa, the Lisbon Port Authority, to work with them and how could we extend the concept of the smart city to the Port Authority so that we could think about have a continuous between the city and the port, because in fact they need and they should exchange data and information. So in fact we have started to work on the idea of the smart port, and we have started to work on the concept of the digital port. So if you are curious, we can speak in the near future.
Of course. Okay. So there's still time for a few more questions. And while people ask the questions, I'm going to ask you a different one. So how do you think, or how do you can ensure that diverse stakeholders like city officials, utilities, citizens, private partners adopt and collectively use the digital twin?
One of the positive aspects of what we see happening in Portugal with the implementation of this national strategy is that it included a capacity building program. And we were responsible for the training program. And in around 6 months, we had more than 900 public servants enrolled in the program, which I cannot say this with complete certainty, but we have 308 municipalities, so around 3 people per municipality enrolled in the program, which is a huge success. My problem is not in the training of human resources. My problem is in the fragility that I find and the fragility that can block the progress or the optimistic vision of what could happen is still data governance and interoperability. There is a huge work to be done in what concerns data governance and interoperability. And this is even more complicated when we speak about having access to crucial data that we need today that is not made available, and it is what the European Union refers to as high-value data sets. So data sets that are created or managed by I don't know how to say this in English, if it is the correct word, concessions. The telco operators, the banking services, the transport authorities, all of that data should be made available free of charge to public entities.
Okay, all right, thank you. There are a few questions about specific things. I'm going to give you my email and then I will direct you to the appropriate people. I'm just going to ask a final question because we're reaching the end of our time. Um, and this would be about technology. So, what emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, edge computing, 5G, etc., do you think will have the biggest impact on the next generation of smart cities and urban digital twins?
For me, the biggest challenge is not about one technology, it's about the integration. It's about the capability of integrated technologies and then to go back to the physical world. Is about and we are facing that challenge now in research. Can I use the artificial intelligence? Can I provide analytical research, but then bring that back to the operational work?
Okay. Thank you so much, Miguel, for being here today. I think it was very much appreciated. You may go. I know you have another commitment right now, so very good to see you.
Thank you.
And to all of you, thanks again for attending. We'll be back on January 21st at the same time with a new city topic. It's going to be about modeling place in geographic information science, concepts, data, and passes forward. So I hope I can see you until then, and hope you enjoyed this session.